everybody, welcome. We're glad you're here. A couple of things. You're at CSC Portland. We're the home of comedy sports. We do improv every Saturday currently, and next week every Friday and Saturday because it's a special weekend. We're actually doing an improv show with a team of people playing a team of puppets next weekend. The puppets are 42-2 all time. And here's why. Because a puppet says something that's dumb and they just do this. Right? That's how it works. All right, so a couple of reminders tonight. We won't be selling any more stuff during the run of the thing. I'm busy streaming. Johanna's busy panicking. At the end, by the way, there will be a Q&A with the students and Carl Wolfson, the instructor, so you can hear a little bit more about the process here. Which brings up a thing. This is a student showcase. Yes. Right? Yes. So we are beautiful people. We are supportive people. Yes. You want to heckle? Come and heckle me. I've been doing improv for 35 years, and I can handle you. These people are students. Yes? Good. Awesome. Cool. Great. I just realized I didn't turn down the HEPA filters behind me, so I'm going to do that. But while I do that, I'm going to introduce tonight's MC and their instructor, Carl Wolfson.
Thank you. Give it up for Patrick. Everybody, comedy sports. So happy that they let me teach these classes here. And I have to tell you, by the way, we have another show on Sunday, so if you don't get enough laughs tonight, 7:30 Sunday, more students from the new classes will be here, and it has been an absolute joy, a joy to teach all of my students. They have been wonderful. They have all bought in. I love every one of them. Give them a round of applause. Getting on stage. Actually, getting on stage, some for the first time to do stand-up comedy. It's really amazing. And it actually got me to thinking about my career. I'm very nostalgic about it. 42 years I've done comedy now, and there's a lot of nostalgia. I was on Alan Thicke's show, Thick of the Night, every week, and Alan died suddenly. He passed away suddenly. I was on Joan Rivers every month, and Joan passed away suddenly. I kind of wish I'd been on The Apprentice, actually. Special prosecutor announced today. I think that's quite interesting. I think at this point the only question is, if Trump is indicted, will he be charged as an adult? I know it's just awful for me and for most of you, the Trump years, and very oppressive, but I try to use it to my advantage. I was in Richland, Washington, doing some comedy. Anybody been to Richland? It's like, yeah, thank you. That's what it deserves. And I'll give you an example of Richland. I was doing some dog and cat material. A woman in the backyard, she had a lab. I said, what kind? She said, meth. And, so I was eating breakfast at a diner in Richland in 2016, and the waitress had a huge Trump button on. I said, okay, I'm in Richland. So I had a nice breakfast, and she brought me the check, and I gave her back the check, and I said, Mexico will pay for it. So I haven't bought food in a red state for a number of years. It's been really nice. He's the biggest grifter ever, isn't he? Yeah. It's unbelievable. Have you done 23andMe? Trump has a thing now called Me. And you send in your DNA and he sends you shit back about himself. It's unbelievable. And then, if it isn't Trump, it's Ron DeSantis. Are you kidding me? How mean is this guy? He flew 48 migrants to Martha's Vineyard. But finally, the Democrats have retaliated. A plane just landed in Florida with 48 of Herschel Walker's children. So those are my students laughing because they have to. All right. You guys ready for our showcase tonight? I know 2 of my students before the class out of the 20, and this guy has been a friend of mine for a little while. We both collect political items, and Ed collects political autographs, books. He's a wonderful guy. I spent time with him at the American Political Items Convention in Reno this summer. And I just found out from this class he's a funny guy too. Please welcome Ed Markowitz. Bring that up. Ed Markowitz.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Carl. Good evening, everybody. I was told to check to make sure that it's up. Yeah, it's fine. I am so excited. I mean, I am absolutely giddy. This is something I wanted to do my whole life. Stand up in front of an audience of 100 people and have you laugh at me out of pity. This has been on my bucket list. It's been right up there with milking a Guernsey and getting kicked into gotchas, I'll tell you what. So I'm the old guy. I asked them to put me on first because the law of averages says I'm more likely to die before the end of the evening. Leonard Cohen said, "I have arrived at 70, the foothills of old age, and now I can view my posthumous career." Well, I certainly hope that I have another career before I turn posthumous years old. Unlikely to be in comedy, but hey, weirder things have happened, right? My name is Ed, E-D, 2 letters, reverse alphabetical order. I see my friend Zach back there counting the alphabet on his fingers, B, C, D. Don't worry about Zach, you already know me. I know when you see an old guy on stage and you hear the letters E-D, the first thing you think of is extremely debonair. And you would be right. You done? Thank you. But I'm in good health. I'm fine. I mean, I could still get up out of bed in the morning. My dad passed away last July. He was 96 years old. Yeah, and he was still able to get up out of his wheelchair for 3 meals a day. But I feel good. I feel healthy. For the most part. Lately, my thumb's been bothering me. I mean, I know it's not mesothelioma or anything, but it is my thumb. I'm not sure. I think it's from all that swiping and scrolling and sexting. But it hurts. And, have you ever noticed that the thumb is the only digit that has one knuckle? I'm pretty sure that if we keep using our cell phones for another 3 generations, we're going to grow a second joint. Either that or our thumb's going to be as big as our foot. So I remember when I was young, my grandfather, my Italian grandfather, Nunzio, used to say to me, "Eddie, don't get old, Eddie. It's a no good. It's a no good, Eddie. Don't get old." Like I had a choice, right? Sorry, Gramp, it didn't quite work out that way. All 4 of my grandparents were immigrants, 2 from Italy, 2 from Poland, so I'm half Italian and half Polish. The bottom half is Italian. Can you say salami? The top half is Polish. You can tell because I didn't know that there were vowels in the alphabet till I was in 6th grade. It's one of the hard parts about getting old, of course, is you don't have a job anymore, you don't have as much money, you don't have all those other frills that went with life. So lately I've been having to start shopping at Goodwill. I was at Goodwill last week and I saw one of those aluminum canes with the 4 feet on the bottom to help stabilize you. I bought it. I figured it was an investment in my future. I'm gonna need one someday, right? Why not be, with inflation going the way it is, pick it up today and use it tomorrow. But I don't care if you're a 7-year-old boy or a 70-year-old boy. You love playing with those things. It's like, I just shot 4 stormtroopers. There's Oddjob. I'm gonna stab him in the foot. So I'm soon to be a septuagenarian. That's 70 years old for those of you who went to high school in Gresham. Thank you very much. There's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things about getting old. Certainly, one of the hard parts about getting old is the finances. I can't even afford an IPA anymore. Now I got to drink PBRs like I did when I was 13. One of the good things about getting old is, there's lots of good things, right? Getting free at the zoo day, I took full advantage of that this year. Full advantage, got in free to see the elephants and whatnot. And then 10% off, everybody gives 10% off to the seniors. That's great. Now I shop at New Seasons on Wednesdays, and it's still 75% more expensive than Fred Meyer's. The weed shop gives you 10% off on April 20th. The rest of the year they give you 20% off, but people in Portland are so high they can't do the math. Yeah. Where's the teleprompter? I'm so old. I'm so old I forgot it. I'm so old my Social Security card has Roman numerals. I'm so old Chuck Taylor wore my sneakers. But one of the other good thing about getting old is, I'm the old cranky old guy. I don't have to put up with people's shit anymore. Children, cats, dogs, Sports Illustrated swimsuit models, they're all fine. People have fangool. It used to be I'd be a good citizen, be walking down the street and see somebody litter, and I'd run over, pick it up, throw it away like a good publican. Nowadays, I see somebody throw something on the ground, I'm chasing them with my cane. Get back here, you hoodlum! Pick that up, you diligent. Yeah. So another problem with the finances. Well, the good thing about the finances, in September, all of us that are on Social Security, we're going to get an 8.4% raise in our Social Security. Yeah, that's good. I'm excited about that. Now I'll be able to eat Purina instead of the generic brand. But I've got two boys. They're good sons. They promised to take care of me after I turn 85. They've already got a kennel picked out. But I tell you, I respect you young people. The young people in the audience, you guys work so hard. Some of you enjoy working so much, you got 3 or 4 jobs. Well, I guess you only got one job. Everything else is a gig or a side hustle, right? So I figured I'm on fixed income now. I'd get a side hustle. I'm a gigolo. No, really. Sometimes I jiggle high and sometimes I jiggle low. But I'm doing pretty good. I got the corner of the market on gilfs. Grandmothers I'd like to fleece. But I think I'm pretty good at it. At least nobody's complained yet. And I do offer a guarantee. If you're not happy, you're welcome to return it or ask for a second one free. When you get to this stage in life, there's 2 things you start thinking about. One is your legacy, and the other is what's going to happen to you after you die. Well, as far as my legacy is concerned, I just hope that I'm remembered as one of those people who made it appear as though he cared about others. And as far as what's going to happen to my body, have you heard about this new law in Washington State? You can now be mulched. Yeah, no, it's true. They dig a hole, they throw in your body, they plant a tree on top of it. It's pretty cool. Then every day your dog comes by and waters the tree. Don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to go stick with the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to be embalmed, stiff as a board. But instead of being buried, I want to be hidden in my ex-wife's shoe closet wearing a pair of her Jimmy Choos. Yeah. Sweet revenge. Don't get old, Eddie. Don't get old. It's not good. I'm so old, I remember rainbows when they were black and white. Thank you very much, everybody. I won't be here for the rest of the weekend, so you're lucky you got to see me tonight.
Ed Markowitz, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie. Good job, Ed. You got to start it off. That's a hard position. Thank you, Ed. Ed, you are not old. You're just not old. I've been caregiving for about 5 years. I have an 88-year-old on Mondays and an 86-year-old on Fridays. So you got a lot of years left. What I've noticed about older people, as they get older, their filters just go, which is kind of fun. My 88-year-old, the first time I was there like 5 years ago, she lives in Providence House, the 60th and Burnside, and she's on the spectrum. But she said to me the second time I was there, she goes, I told all the women I have a male caregiver. I said, well, that's nice, Patty. That's really nice. She said, they all wanted to know if you were handsome. I said, well, what'd you say? She goes, it's like, I'm the caregiver. My students want to know what it's like being on the road, because I think a lot of them are going to do well in comedy, and I tell them, there's a lot of places you can go that are better than others, and the only problems I've had are kind of in the Deep South. Anyone been to the Deep South? It's like, yeah. I was in Pamplona, Alabama for the Running of the Rednecks, and I was gored by their sharp intellect, I have to tell you. On Sunday night, Nick Dudley, who's sitting right there, and I love Nick, he's going to be on our show Sunday, who just moved from Little Rock, Arkansas. So I hope you weren't offended by that little joke, but I've been to Arkansas, so you'll see shit there you won't see anywhere. I saw a 12-year-old girl in Arkansas smoking right in front of her children. It was unbelievable. That's how you structure a joke. By the way, it's Johanna Lowenberg who... The barometer of our class was when Johanna honks. It's a keeper. So thank you. All right, coming to the stage now. Actually, we bonded a little bit because she also works with seniors, and somebody has to, and Grace does a great job at it. So, please welcome a very funny lady, Grace Ashita, ladies and gentlemen. Grace Ashita!
My name's Grace, and I was raised a poor white girl on an onion farm in Salem, Oregon. You kind of look like you don't believe me. I was raised white. Everybody in Salem in the 60s and 70s was raised white. Right? Salem, Oregon, yeah. So anyway, like I said, I was raised white, only because kind of my identity, I feel white, even though, yes, I'm 100% Japanese. So I'm Japanese American, but I kind of defy the stereotypes, right? The Asian stereotypes, couple ways. Number one, I'm not very good at math. Number two, I'm actually a very good driver. And number three, I'm a little on the pudgy side. So that's the other Asian stereotype I defy. And my mom, bless her heart, she reminded me of it every day. She was really good about that. She was the Asian stereotype of a mom, of focusing on her children. And, she really only had me because I was an only child, so I was her job. And she felt it was her job to humble me on a daily basis. And she would grab, even when I was skinny, she would grab my skin and say, oh no, look at, you so fat. What's the matter you? You so fat. Oh no. Oh, I know. Because you daddy's side family, they big. Mama's side family, we little. I'm so sorry. You take after daddy's side. Yeah, my mom, the geneticist, right? You know, so yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that was her constant thing of, okay, you know, she was always keeping me humble, and she would do that. But she wasn't your typical, she wasn't the typical Asian mom of the tiger mom. She didn't care about my homework. She didn't ask me about my grades. No, her thing was, you will not shame the family, right? And so I grew up thinking, she might be not thinking, I was being told, you have to be good. You know good, everybody think of mama, daddy, bad mama, daddy. They think all Japanese people, bad people. So I'm like, I have the weight of this whole nation on my shoulders, and a nation that I have no allegiance to, I don't even know where the heck it is, right? You know. Anyway, but actually, when I got to high school, then she got very focused. And again, not on grades, who cares about top honors, honor roll? No, everything was about, okay, you graduate to high school, no do drugs, no get pregnant. No do drugs, no get pregnant. You get pregnant, oh no, shame on the family. Mama so shame, mama have to move, mama have to kill herself. Yes, she actually said that. I'm like, okay. So guess what? Yes, I graduated a virgin, and thank you. I didn't know that I would ever say that on stage, nor did I think that I would get applause. But thank goodness my mom set the bar at high school and not college, so we'll just leave it at that. But I mean, oh wait, no, you don't get pregnant. But you know, she never had the talk with me, so I don't know that I would really have known. So we'll get to that later. But that was her job. Her job was always to be a little voice inside of my head, and now that she's gone, she's a voice inside of my head, telling me, humbling me, not always praising me, but humbling me on a very regular basis. But she spoke the truth, her truth. She was very no filter, right? My mom was old when she was young, no filter. And what I really wish now is, I really wish I actually would have had her assisting me a little bit when it came to dating. And I could use her help right now, but we won't even, that's a whole other set, right? Book me for another, I could do a whole set on that. But anyway, if I had had her assistance and had her critique, when I was dating my now ex-husband, I probably could have saved myself a little bit of heartache. Like the first time I toured his apartment, at that time, he was my boyfriend, and like I said, now he's my ex-husband, and it was a short tour, one-bedroom apartment, and we get to the bedroom, and lo and behold, there on the bed is the puffiest, poofiest, shiniest peach satin comforter. Yeah, even a little too feminine for me. Now, if my mom had been with me and had seen that, she would have waited till we got home, but we would have gotten home and I would have gotten an earful. This is what I know she would have said. Oh no, what's the matter with that? He's a man. Why a man have a woman a bedspread? That's a woman a bedspread. Why he's a man? I don't understand. Oh, I know. Is he gay? Well, yeah. Again, if I had asked that question, is he gay? I might have saved myself a little heartache, but yeah, I know. So I do. So I asked that question. No, I don't. But I probably will. I don't know. I haven't really. Anyway, okay. Get to the next part, Grace. That's a hill I don't want to climb. But she, like I said, she humbled me often, but she also entertained me, right? And so the humbling part, that continued into adulthood. She often reminded me that I was not skinny like her, and oh, you're so fat. Thanks, Mom. But then, 10 years ago, oh my gosh, her focus, it changed. All of a sudden, gray hair. Oh, it was appalling to her because she colored her hair. Yeah, until she was 92, she colored her hair like she was fooling anybody. But, but she, I'd go visit her and she would say, Oh no, your hair, you have so much gray hair. What's the matter you? You look so old. Oh, you look so old. And she was just appalled, and she would dig through my hair like a chimpanzee. I'm like, God, Mom. And she said, oh, you don't have money? Mama give you money. You go cut your hair. You look so old. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, the humbling, but the entertaining, I will tell you this one. The entertaining part was this story. It actually involves my now 100-year-old auntie, who's still with us. And we're sitting at the dining room table, and the two of them are talking, and they're blah, 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 and I can understand just enough Japanese to kind of know what they're talking about, but mostly it was, you ask her, you ask her, you ask her, you ask her. Okay, ladies, what do you want to ask me? Ask me. My mom takes a breath. We don't understand how a lesbian, how are they gonna do sex? I'm like, how are they gonna do sex? Now remember, we haven't had the straight sex talk. I'm well over 50 at this time. I'm not even gonna talk to my mom about straight sex, much less any other avenue, right? And I just said, you know what, ladies? You're 90, you're 85. You've gotten to this age, and you haven't had this lesson, and you don't know. I think you can get to the end of your life without really learning, okay? And they just looked at me, and they smiled and giggled. Okay, they accepted it, because really, think about it. How was I going to say to a 90-year-old the word strap-on? Thank you.
Where's Ashita, ladies and gentlemen? Come on! So polished. Good job. Love it. Keep it going. Come on. First time doing stand-up? I've asked my students to come from their lives, what's truest, and they're all buying into it. So great. I love it. My mom and I loved each other, but she was a lifelong Fox-watching Republican, and I was a Democrat, so that was our battle, you know. I go visit her in Florida. She accidentally bleached my Obama t-shirt, you know. So I set fire to her Glenn Beck Christmas sweater. That's what I did. And my husband and I are celebrating our 25th anniversary next month. Remember the first time I brought Gary down to meet my mom in Florida, I think it was 98. We're having dinner, and she looks across, she goes, now which one of you is gay? I was like, and she actually said to me, we didn't have homosexuals in the 1950s. I said, well, somebody put the fins on those Cadillacs. Somebody did those beehive hairdos, come on. We have a friend, Jenny, who's lesbian, and she also has a very right-wing mom in Florida. And she told her mom she was a lesbian, and her mother goes, there's always a sigh. What's next, Jenny? Heroin? Lesbianism, the gateway drug. Okay. Family is great for comedy. I love it. By the way, we got, Patrick, 30 people watching on, is it on Zoom?
Well, it's a few less now because apparently a lot of people here to see Grace and they tuned out.
Yeah, there you go.
Over 20 screens.
Yeah.
Research has shown that's 2 people a screen.
Yeah,
So
all those gay men married to women kind of like had their, they had their little comedy and they tootled off. All right. Okay, coming up stage now, a guy that I really enjoyed meeting, and he's just an A1 guy, and he is from a different country than the United States, and I just think he's the best. Please welcome Idris Whitehead. Bring him up. Idris!
Thank you. My name is Idris, and I am from Germany. Although I moved here when I was 8 years old, so that's not enough time to have a fun accent. I do have a couple of fun stories for you guys. So we moved here because my dad's whole side of the family, they all live here in the States. And when we first heard that we're coming to America, we were stoked. Because what you hear as a little German boy about America is big cities and skyscrapers, New York City, just beautiful, big, impossible things. So we had our expectations appropriately dialed in, and as we landed in our new home, and we're thrilled to discover that we moved to Eugene. Unfortunately, I didn't have the vocabulary at the time, or I said, "Mama, Papa, what the fuck is this?" Instead, I cried myself to sleep. Fortunately, my father had some foresight. On his last trip to the States before bringing the rest of us over, he realized, the kids, they should probably know a little bit of English before they get here. So he hit the store, and he picked up some material. What we landed on was an audio cassette with a companion picture book. And you may be wondering, what's a good book to learn another language with? And to be honest, I do not know. And more importantly for this story, neither does my dad. Because what he came back with was the Dr. Seuss classic, Green Eggs and Ham. That book barely makes sense. It makes absolutely no sense to an 8-year-old German boy. Don't get me wrong, though. Loved it. Something about this jingliness to it. It really spoke to my little German heart. I also really loved Cotton Eye Joe at the time. But what those two things have in common is there's no practical English in there anyway. A little German boy popping up on, where did you come from? Where did you go? Seems like I have a creepy, stalkerish interest in these. All that is to say, we got to America and we spoke no English. So we hit the ground just looking for survival vocabulary. Things like, where I go, pee-pee, and what is your name? And I remember meeting my cousin for the first time. And I walked up to her and I said, what is your name? And she said with a smile on her face, Nanya. Like none of your business. Which would have hurt my feelings if I understood the joke. For a month, I believed that was her name. Ultimately, we got that cleared up. But one thing that's interesting, a piece of vocabulary that was very important to my heart was, is this pork? And for context, my father is actually from Afghanistan. And one of the things that, even though we didn't grow up in a religious household, one thing I carried over from him being from a culturally Islamic country is that we didn't eat pork. And one thing that's interesting when you're a kid is just because you don't grow up around religion, doesn't mean it doesn't find its way to you. So I basically had in my little 8-year-old German boy brain this strange amalgamation of different faiths. And what I believed was that if I ate that delicious Costco chicken bake, and I didn't pick out every single piece of bacon, I was going straight to some strange mishmash interfaith hell. So you can imagine a little German boy going to a public school cafeteria. I was very concerned, being able to interrogate, is this pork? Now the interesting thing with kids is they do not understand I don't eat pork. What they hear is, this kid has never had pepperoni pizza. And I gotta share that with him. Which led to an exasperated 8-year-old German boy going, no, Sam, I will not eat the ham. I will not eat it here or there. I will not eat it anywhere. Pepperoni, please. Just give me a slice of cheese. Fortunately, kids learn pretty quick, though. And soon enough, I was stringing together my own little phrases. And one of them was kind of sad. It was, Uncle, why no hug? And the context for this is the first house that we moved to in the States in Eugene, Oregon. Well, it was this old, rundown house that abutted against this hillside, and all along the back of it, it was just overgrown with all those Oregon bushes, blackberry bushes, those leaves of 3 bushes you're not supposed to touch. But we're not familiar with any of that. We just came to this country, and we were gonna tame the jungle around our new home. That first summer we got here, my dad took my brother and I in our little 90s boy shorts and our very cool Mickey Mouse t-shirts out back. And we spent the afternoon just laying in to that foliage, just we were in there deep. And we only stop when my uncle comes and he pays us a visit. And he comes around the side of the house, and in my family, when the grown-ups show up, the kids drop what they're doing, they run over and they say hello, give them a hug. So it's exactly what my brother and I go to do. And our uncle sees us, and he looks at what we're doing, and back at us, and he turns around and runs away. And my brother and I are like, oh, Uncle is playing silly games. So we go and we give chase. And he manages to, we catch up to him, and he transcends language by miming a wall that brings us to a stop. And I can just tell on his face, he is not happy to see us. And I just look up to him, broken-hearted, Uncle, why no hug? And he proceeds to try to explain to us, through our father, the colossal mistake we had spent the afternoon making. Because it turns out in America, there's this devilish weed called poison oak. And in Germany, there is no plant like that. So we think he's exaggerating. And my dad ushers us inside, where we proceed to make the second mistake of the afternoon by taking really hot showers. You guys are from the Pacific Northwest, you know about poison oak, but the hot steam really opens the pores, really lets that oil get in there. And it didn't take us very long to realize the consequences of our actions. Mom sent me to school the next day, and I'm sitting in class, and periodically I'm getting up to go to the bathroom to paper off the pus that's leaking out from my arm. After the 3rd time of this, the teacher comes up to me and says, Idris, I don't think you should be here. You should probably go home. So I said nothing, because I couldn't understand a word they were saying. But ultimately, I make it to the office, and my mom picks me up. And so began 2 weeks of agony, just eyes almost swollen shut, covered in scabs and pus and itchiness, and just rubbing that thick pink calamine lotion in, trying to find any kind of peace. And as I lay there in my own personal hell in Eugene, Oregon, I know deep down that I deserve this. I brought this on myself. Because up there, or maybe over there, is some nondescript patchwork mishmash of an interfaith God. Watching with a creepy, stalkerish interest, a little 8-year-old German boy. Oh, where did he come from? Where did he go? Oh, he's got a chicken pick from Costco. And he watches as that little boy gets impatient with every bite. There, he sees it. Me. Eating motherfucking bacon. Thank you, guys.
Keep it going for 3. Come on. he did that with a mic kind cutting out. Come on, you stay with it. I love it. You won't think of bacon the same way. Wait. One more time for Idris. That's really good stuff. That's a German boy. I saw something in Portland today I have never seen. I saw a car with Washington plates going the right way down a one-way street. I will give it up for Washington. Any Washingtonians here, I should say?
Yes.
Okay. Maytal is on the show on Sunday. It was very funny. You live in Washington? Yeah. I didn't know that. Your tuition should have gone up. They did do a great thing like some years ago. Washington State actually on the same election day legalized pot and gay marriage. On the same day. Which is proving, they prove we were just reading the Bible wrong in Leviticus. If a man sleeps with a man, he should be stoned. I mean, come on. Flashback to your first marriage there? All right. Coming to the stage now, a good friend of mine. I know only two of the students that I know before, and Kimmy, I have to brag on Kim because we are political junkies, good friends, and in 2018, Kim went to Montana and worked hard to get John Tester elected, especially with getting the Native American vote out, and she spent time in Montana and helped win that election. In 2020, she and my friend Joel Shapiro went to Arizona and helped protect the vote and get the vote out in Arizona for Joe Biden and Mark Kelly. And guess where she went this year? Nevada, and we won Nevada with Catherine Cortez Masto. Please welcome my friend Kim Upham, ladies and gentlemen. Kim. Come on.
Lower expectations. Somebody has to be at the bottom of the
So
grading.
you're lowering expectations and ask me to stand up here? Okay.
Yes. Somebody has to be at the bottom of the grading curve. And y'all, I just realized yesterday that I have stage fright. Yeah, I've done a lot of public speaking. I used to actually teach public speaking. But I noticed that when my arm goes like this, that's when my brain disengages. So I brought my notes up here. There's a good chance I'm going to run off stage crying. My friends are here. My classmates are here. I really appreciate the extra support. So, all right. So I'm from a family of smart people. Like rocket science smart, and that means that I'm just trying to keep up most of the time. My dad is a nuclear engineer, and my stepfather is a nuclear physicist. And they, along with my mother, used to work at General Electric when I was growing up. So yes, I know what you're thinking. Yes, I am from a nuclear family. And yes, my mother does have a type. It's pasty white guys that don't talk a whole lot but can bring home 6 figures. Yep. One time I accidentally saw my mom's vision board. All I can tell you is there were several photos of scantily clad men, and on top she had posted thick glasses and pocket protectors. It was disgusting. And I'm never going to that website again. The good thing about nuclear engineers being pasty white, though, is that you can tell if they're glowing. You guys are making me feel great. I gotta tell you, those other 3 people really started to make me nervous because they were so good. So good. And then when Patrick said that 20 people had dropped off after Grace's, I was like, thank God. Is there any way the other half of the people in this room could leave? That would really lower my stress. So thank you. My family particularly excelled in STEM education, which we know as science, technology, engineering, and math. They've now added an A though, it's STEAM education. A stands for arts, and that's for the kids, that's so that the kids who are good at drawing and not good at math won't face a lifetime of self-recrimination and loathing. And I was one of those kids. Very good at drawing, not so good at math. So I became a lawyer. And because, as Ed told us, it's not enough in this economy to have one job, I also have a pet sitting business. It can be extremely confusing for my clients. And I tell them, don't worry about it, just relax. If your cat needs a will, I'm your person. Or perhaps 9 wills. Thank you, Idris. Idris gave me that joke. You can tell he's really good. He's got a future. I'm still not good at math, but I know that 9 wills is going to be a lot better for me. I was a numbskull when I was growing up. I was about 11 or 12 years old, and all my friends were babysitting, and so I wanted to do the same thing. But the problem was that I didn't have any younger siblings to practice on because I was an only child. So my mom tried to help me out, and she said, "What would you do if someone was choking on a bone?" I thought about it, and then I told her about this MacGyver move that I had seen on TV. It involves a pair of pliers, a fork, and a flashlight. You take the pliers and you bend the fork, and then you hold the flashlight in your other hand. Then you go down the throat looking for the bone. My mother said, "Stop!" And that was the end of my babysitting career before it ever got started. The kids these days have it a lot easier though. The Red Cross teaches babysitting skills, and they even offer a certification. They had to. Too many people were getting stabbed in the neck with forks. Well, we all survived the pandemic. The people that are here. Give yourself a round of applause. Right? Sanjay Gupta, who's the CNN doctor, says that there's only 4 ways to come out of the pandemic lockdown. You're either a chunk, a hunk, a monk, or a drunk. To which I say, why do I have to pick just one? So I'm a chunky monk who's drunk by 4 p.m. and looking for a hunk. It's awfully tough, though, when the only person that comes to your door is the UPS man. I like my UPS men with thick glasses and pocket protectors. Thank you.
Kim up from ladies and gentlemen. Kim. Wasn't that easy? Come on, wasn't that easy? One rule, first day of class, have fun, the audience will have fun, right? Yeah, thank you, Kim, and she's one of my my political friends, and I don't know if some people know I spent 10 years on Portland radio, Progressive Voice of Portland, and the first 6 years on KPOJ, Portland's progressive talk station, and everyone says to me when I travel around that, oh, it's so easy to be a liberal in Portland. That's what they tell me. It's so easy, you're liberal in Portland. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not easy to be a liberal in Portland. It isn't. Case in point, after 6 years on KPOJ, it was my dream job. Clear Channel flipped the format to syndicated sports, and we were 3 days after the 2012 election. We at least got Obama reelected, and then, you know, I was called in and the state was laid off, and this is my dream job, 6 years on radio, and I was so depressed and so down, and you know, it came as a jolt to me because I look forward to going back to 2013, so I'm like driving home, I'm really down, So, you know, I drive in the garage, And I just sit in the car and I keep the car running, and I think, you know, I'm just going to end it and close the garage door. And after about 20 minutes, I realized I have an electric car. So it is not easy. Being a liberal in Portland. All right. Oh, all right. One more time for Kim. She really sweated that. And she did great. I love it. Joining us now is another one I really enjoyed getting to meet in class. She's kind of like, as well as being very, very funny, she's kind of got a calming influence on everyone. I think she should be a psychologist as well as a blossoming stand-up comedian. Please welcome Alice Carrier, ladies and gentlemen. Alice.
Hi. How's it going? You know, everybody acts like they want you to take them very seriously. Like we want to be taken seriously. But people are adorable. They're very, very cute. Everything that we do is very cute. I was at the grocery store the other day, and they had a little LED kiosk in front of the cash register that was like, rate our service. Like there's a really happy guy, there's like a little smiley face, and then there's like a really bored looking guy, and then there's this red face, like pissed off eyebrows, like ah, like screaming face, and it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. It doesn't inspire rage. I can't imagine walking up to the cash register with $167 full of luxury groceries, just like pissed, with my free-range turkey eggs and like raw dog food. And I have to like boop the cutest cartoon I've ever seen on the nose to express my dissatisfaction. I don't know, I like West Coast grocery stores a lot. I love that you can get a kombucha anywhere at any truck stop along the I-5. Nice. Now, we know that spooky punk kids like Halloween, right? Yeah. You guys like Halloween? My friends are all goth. Like, I started seeing pumpkins on the internet in like September. And I'm okay with it. I'm like an elder goth. I have like a year-round like bone altar in my house. I'm weird. I get it. But every time Halloween like gets closer, Christmas gets a little closer too. And I thought punks hated Christmas. It's like expensive. You have to hang out with your family. And then I thought about it. If I'm investing in like an all black, rock hard, ripped denim wardrobe, I'm not gonna spend $65 on like fuzzy snowflake pajama pants from Old Navy, but my grandma is. I want to tell you that when someone tells you they meditate, they're not bragging about how chill they are. They're warning you. They're letting you know that they're so uptight that they preemptively give themselves a timeout once a day. I do listen to a lot of self-help like audiobooks and stuff, and sometimes it's hard to take them seriously because the publisher that I download books from has a name that makes me second guess all of their material. It's called Sounds True. Thank you very much.
Alice Carrier, ladies and gentlemen, Bernie Scott. Oh man, thank you, Alice. I wanted to mention one other person who's here tonight, and she's the reason I'm here tonight. And I mentioned my 10-year radio career. The last 6 months on KPAN, I was paired with truly a Portland and Oregon legend, Margie Boulay. And I almost said Margie. Margie, longtime beloved Oregonian columnist and original singer with Pink Martini, and I was so lucky to be paired with her for 6 months on KPAN before they sold the station, so we sued the bastards and won. There she is, Margie Boulay. Margie. Only one lawsuit in my life, and when we beat Bob Pamplin, Robert Pamplin, we beat him. It took 3 years, but we got the money, and I got this outfit out of it. But Margie and I we were having coffee some months ago, and she suggested me teaching stand-up here, and Patrick was aboard, so thank you, Margie, thank you, Patrick, and thank everybody here. I loved it. So one of the things we start with in class is comedy is 50% material, theoretically, and 50% style, and we work on material, and we work on style, and our next act, he had me laughing from day one of class because he's really got the style and the material too. Please welcome Kent Sayer, ladies and gentlemen. Kent Sayer!
All right. Yeah, let's give it up for Carl, everybody. Yeah! Woo! All right. Hello. I've been binge watching acting videos on YouTube to get myself ready to unwrap lousy Christmas gifts. Recently, I've started taking karate lessons for mental toughness, to build self-discipline, so I can flush urinals without getting my hands all dirty. Yeah. My therapist tells me I'm way too arrogant, that I need to be more humble. So I've set a goal to be the world's most humble person. Yeah. Between you and me, I'm already like this close. Yeah. I'm trying to be more like environmentally conscious, so rather than wasting Kleenex, I just shoot a snot rocket. Yeah. Judge me all you want, but I'm saving the planet one snot rocket at a time. You know, I'm really fascinated by brands and mascots they choose to represent them. You know, Energizer Batteries has the Energizer Bunny, and Aflac Insurance has the Aflac Duck. So shouldn't the American Red Cross have their mascot be Dracula? I love getting my wife flowers. In fact, I get my wife flowers all the time. She always tells me I'm such a romantic. I don't know, to me it's no big deal getting them because the cemetery is on my way home from work. Yeah. Sometimes I surprise her with balloons too. You know, I saw the world's oldest person the other day, had a birthday. It's no big deal. I don't want to brag or anything, but when I was born for like half a second, I was the world's youngest person. Yeah. I went to Oregon State University. Go Beavers. Yeah. Mascots are supposed to be strong and tough and brave, kind of scary. Our state has beavers and ducks. So disappointing. What's a beaver gonna do to you? Build you a dam? Gnaw on a log? What's a duck gonna do to you? Paddle around the lake? Eat bread from children? Yeah, I don't know. I got a new pair of shoes the other day. It's so stupid. I got one of those shoe freshener packets, and on them they say, "Do not eat." Number one, who's eating these things? Secondly, do you really think the people that eat these things stop to read warning labels? Like, here's Cooter. I got me a brand new pair of shoes and some of them shoe candies. Wait a minute. Do not eat. Doggone it, there goes my dessert. I'm pretty proud of myself because I recently ran a marathon. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, technically, let me back that up. I walked a marathon. All right. I'm just going to level with you here. Over the last 3 months, my fitness tracker told me I paced around the house for 26.2 miles. You know, I used to be an engineer at Intel, and it was weird having those name badges because it reminded me way too much of those Lost Dog ID tags. On the back of my name badge, it said, if you see this engineer out in sunlight, he's lost. Call us, and we'll get him back to his cubicle. The worst thing about it was, people actually called. It was humiliating getting picked up. It would scan my badge, and then they'd be like, did you have some fun in the sun? Who's a good boy? Come on, let's get you back to your cubicle and get you a treat. Attaboy. Totally humiliating. Man, I'm tired of bumper stickers telling me how to live my life. I want a bumper sticker on my car that says, don't take advice from bumper stickers. You know, it's really weird to me that people complain about their birthday and getting older because you either get 1 year older or you die. What other options are there? When I'm tempted to complain about my birthday, I drive myself to the cemetery, lay down next to a headstone, and hold real still until I get bored. And that stops my complaining just like that. You know, my father-in-law, he's a big duck hunter, and over the pandemic, he got me into duck hunting, and I'm just kind of surprised how much I like it. I love the thundering roar of the gun. I love the aroma of the gunpowder. Of course, the fresh, succulent duck meat. But do you know who hates it every time I go? The children in the park. Thank you very much, everybody.
Kent Sayer, ladies and gentlemen. Kent Sayer. I continue to be amazed. 8 weeks ago, when we had our first class, none of these performers spoke English. So this is a win tonight. One more time for Kent Sayer. By the way, after the show, if you'd like to stay, we're going to do a Q&A and bring the performers up on stage so you can ask them questions about the class if you're... we're doing 2 new classes beginning January 9th, is that right? Close. Well, I should know when we're doing them.
January 16th.
16th, okay, so there's another introductory class and an intermediate class. You know, and I have to say that one of the things I know in life, and knowing thousands of comedians, some of the funniest people I know have never, ever gone on stage. They're just funny in real life, but they wouldn't, for some reason, come on stage. These people have done it. Give them another round of applause. Really cool. The funniest person in my neighborhood is our dry cleaner, Mrs. Lee, who's from Korea. And she's just naturally funny. I once, a couple years ago, I took a pair of jeans that had a little red stain here, and you have to point out the stains, and she goes, "Is it the lipstick?" I really don't need shit cleaned, I just go in there for her jokes. Pretty much. Coming to the stage now, a woman I've really enjoyed in class a lot, and I believe she comes to us from the suburbs. Please welcome Julia McAvoy, ladies and gentlemen. Julia!
Hello. Woo! Hello, hi. My name is Julia, as Carl said. A little bit about me. I'm 29 years old. I just recently got married for the first time. Sorry, fellas. Sorry, ladies. No, but I just got married, and I don't know how they do it, but my in-laws just keep getting crazier and crazier. I thought my husband, Anthony, was joining the dysfunctional family, but his family seems like it was birthed by Elmer Fudd and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Especially my sister-in-law. She really takes the gluten-free MAGA cake. But I have to say, I love her. She's an amazing person. She's super smart. She's an architect. She has 2 kids. She's an excellent mother. But she is what they call in the scientist community a kook. She's a little kooky. She's a kooky cookie. You would never know by looking at her, but underneath her like beautiful bombshell facade, I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. I don't know why. Okay, here we go. You would never know, but under her like beautiful bombshell facade, she has some funky fears and odd beliefs going on under there. Like one of her main fears is actually around vaccines. Let me go back a second. She has a lot of odd fears and beliefs, some pre-COVID, some post-COVID. Okay, we all know what that's like. So one of her main fears is around vaccines. Pre-COVID, she believes that they are one of the leading causes of autism. Post-COVID, she believes that they've now been supercharged with microchip technology. Forget the obesity epidemic, Americans have gone bionic! Thanks, Bill Gates. But the best part about joining my husband's family was getting invited to their Graham family group chat, right? Who doesn't love a family group chat? The only approved sources for the chat apparently were Facebook and helloimkaren.com. It's true, sad but it's true. So we get a lot of conspiracy theories articles all the time. It was like a 24/7 news cycle of that crap. So one day my husband and I, we decided to like give her a taste of her own medicine, you know, like send something back to her. So we sent an article to the group chat about flat earth theory. She is now a hill denier. That's right. She denies the existence of hills and refuses to drive over them. So now she truly does not know what's up or down. Thank you. A few months ago, she sent us an article about how the government, or Big Brother, is putting chemicals and other things into our water supply to make us more sheep-like. Excuse me. Oh yeah, to make us more sheep-like, you know, more like sheeple, and I kept thinking to myself, I think it's in the water she's drinking. So a few weeks later, we actually had her over for dinner, which was really nice, and I was setting out, you know, little appetizers, tapas, you know, things girls do, and I gave a water glass out to everyone, and so every time we would take a sip, we would bleat like a sheep, so we'd take a sip and she loved that so much. So we take a sip, and then finally I like downed my whole glass and I said, babe, You know, that My Pillow guy, I'm thinking that My Pillow guy has some really good ideas. Let's join QAnon. And he checked his whole glass and said, me too. And then we served lamb for dinner, which really confused her. That's all for me. Stay safe, guys.
Julia, McAvoy, Julia. Serve lamb for dinner. People ask me if comedy is the toughest job I've had, and it's not. I think the toughest job I ever had was one summer I worked in Kansas. Anybody from there? That's a good answer. You're all. I was in college and I had a summer job in Kansas. My job was so hard, it was to go around the entire state of Kansas, and whenever a cow took a shit, I'd have to put down a sign that said highest point in Kansas. So, comedy's a breeze after that. It's a visual. We had Kim, a lawyer, on the stage, and we have another two-lawyer show, ladies and gentlemen. A two-lawyer show. Lawyers are getting into comedy now. This guy is really funny. He cracks me up. Please welcome John Stam. Welcome, John.
Another lawyer. It's like, this guy must not give a shit about his reputation. I have a mildly tolerable OCD, and I'm ready to admit to you all, I can only fuck on a north-south axis. I'm in a relationship now about almost 3.5 years, and she still hasn't figured it out. I don't know what I do at this point. I might just ride it out and see where. We moved in together recently, and I took a very active role in arranging the furniture. She thought I was being very sweet and involved. I almost blew it recently, though. We were in Vegas a few weeks ago. We were staying on the Strip, and we come back to the hotel room, and she wants to have sex in the window. And you're probably thinking, like, damn, this is hot. Where's it going? No, this is a crisis. This window faces east. And it's not like I can just like gently turn her to the left. Like, no, let's look at the lamp and this shitty generic artwork next to the thermostat instead. It's all right, though. I have a solution in these situations. Break out the blindfold. You out-kinky her kinky. And put it on, turn it a little bit to the left, 20 degrees to the right, like a piñata. You got it. No, I have some weird sexual habits. It probably comes from some shit I experienced with my parents growing up. When I was 14, have you ever found something that belonged to your parents that you were too young to see and kind of scarred you? When I was 14, there's a day in every young man's life when he loses a little bit of his innocence. April 3rd, 2002 was that day for me. I was in my dad's closet and I was rummaging around for the hell of it and grabbed a shoebox and I opened it up. First I see a stack of VHS porno tapes, and these are like old porno, like early 90s, like Bush. I was like, okay. Next to that was a Ziploc bag of very old weed. And I was a little jarring. I was like, my dad does drugs? Next to that was a crusty bottle of lube. And then finally, this pink rubbery sack And I'll never forget, I'm holding this thing up, and I'm like, the fuck is this, a whoopee cushion? My father's pocket pussy. And I know what you're thinking. Did you use it? Gross. However, my dad laid out the buffet for me. No, 2002, that was a rough year for me. Earlier that year, during gym class, my dick popped out of my shorts. Let me set the scene for you here. At the school that I went to for gym class, we all had to wear these uniforms, and we had to wear these very short red nylon running shorts as part of this uniform. And these are like universally sized for middle school age children, not for a 6'3" gangly Jewish kid. So these shorts on me were like here. Like my boxers were longer than these shorts. And guys will understand this, when you're 14, boners. All day. Every day. You sneeze and... So I'll never forget, I'm standing there, we're doing our stretching on the field, and girl in my class, Amanda Massey. She might be watching. She might remember this. I'll never forget. She's wearing a thong that day. And these are see-through shorts, and we're stretching, and we're starting to breach. It's starting to breach. It's like I said, it's at this height. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, let's just get through this, get through this. Until suddenly our gym coach says, okay, time for jumping jacks. You know, everyone thinks it's so great being a tall guy. It's like, dude, he's tall. This is what, like, command presence. This must. It sucks when you stand out in front of a crowd, especially when you tower 2 feet over your middle school classmates in gym class with a boner. You don't want to stand out. And so I'm standing in the back row, again, towering over my classmates, and I'm trying to like pretend, and of course I stand out, and the coach is like, John, let's go. I let it rip. And popped out. And, there might have been a scream or two. I blacked out in shame. 2002, a good one. I had a rough morning the other day. I'm walking to work, and I see a dog that has bigger balls than me. I'm like, fuck this. Nope. Working from home today. No, I learned some things this summer, and I'm reevaluating those lessons. I think the most impactful lesson I learned is, as a guy, don't wear sandals to a public urinal. I work in my office. As Carl mentioned, I'm a lawyer. I work with people who are way too old, who just don't know how to retire. And some of them are crotchety, some of them are blind. And one day I'm at the urinal, waiting for the flow, and here comes crotchety old Mr. Lawyer and pissed on my foot. Yeah, just don't do it. Don't wear sandals. God, I miss COVID. No, in line with my sexual habits, I have some weird bathroom neuroses. I'm a very shy pooper. I have been known to, I wear sunglasses sometimes when I'm on the toilet in the bathroom. I got nothing else to add to that. That's weird, right? I'm also a very stubborn pooper. You know, I dare wonder how many hours of my life that I've wasted sitting on a toilet waiting for that perfect 30-second interval when no one else is in there and I can finish. I think about, when you die and you see God or whomever and they're like, John, I see you spent a third of your life sleeping. You spent 4 months waiting for the guy next to you to take a shit. One time, I spent 45 minutes one time. I was in this gigantic bathroom in a gym. There were like 12 stalls. I'm in there, there's one guy next to me. He's done in like 10 seconds. And then we just sat there. In silence. Nothing. Do you know what happens to you when you're sitting on a toilet for 45 minutes? You start to sweat. Your legs completely fall asleep. Your asshole goes cold and dry. And to my everlasting disgrace, he beat me. I got up, I left, and he's out there, he's probably watching, my nameless, faceless nemesis. Fuck that guy. That's it.
John! Damn, John! Oh, man. Keep it going. Come on, 2 lawyers. One show. 2 lawyers in one show. If someone comes up like Will Smith and slaps me, I got my counsel here. So, I just noticed my friends, Dylan Hides and Joel Shapiro are, Dylan and Kim and Paul Block, who may not be here, and I did a podcast political podcast for about, I guess, 7 or 8 months until COVID hit and we scrammed out. And Joel was on the podcast some. Joel is a lawyer, Dylan's a lawyer, so we have 4 lawyers. Give them a round of applause. Kim, Joel, Dylan, kind of like a law firm. Any other lawyers here, I should ask? Anybody else? Just 4. Okay, that's good. Oh, are you a lawyer? No, you're just applying for only 4 lawyers. Thank you very much. That's good. Our last act is so... I love her. I love her. And everybody in class loves her too, and you'll find out why. Please, you'll find out why right now. Please welcome Na Wen. Bring up Na Wen. Come on, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. She's not a lawyer. Keep it going, keep it going.
Hello, my name is Na. Like, can I take you home? Nah. My day job when I'm not standing up here being a clown is that I'm a realtor. And the market's been really tough, so every day I wake up choosing violence. So today I'll be talking about things that I hate. To start off the list, the dentist. I do not like the things they put in my mouth. I don't like the taste of blood. But I always remind myself that I need to get this mouth clean for all the shit I talk. Dating in this generation. No, I do not want to be friends with benefits until I get Social Security. Realistic face tattoos. I met this guy, he had a huge face tattoo of his mom, like right here. I understand the dedication is beautiful and all, but honestly, it's really creepy. Like, I felt like she was like staring at me however I moved. And those eyes, they do not shut off at night. And can you imagine, like, doing adult things to her son? Mama is watching. Like, at this rate, you're, like, having a threesome with the mom. Ew. Something else that really annoys me are my taken friends. So I'm 32 at that stage in my life where my friends are married, so they're having like round 2 or 3 of kids. And then another group of friends are in like 8 to 10 year relationships. So I'm one of the only single ones that are out here in the wild. So my dating life is the most exciting, entertaining thing to them ever. And instead of asking like how I'm doing, they're like, how's dating? And they kind of watch my every move like a spy. I like post a picture of my food one time, and then there was a guy's arm in the picture, and then immediately they're like, ooh, new boo! Even my own mom, like I'll be going to the gym, and then she'll be like, how'd you meet husband? And she's really big on my airport outfit, thinks I'll be meeting my husband on the plane. So I'll be wearing sweats, and then she'll be like, ugly, no husband, change dress. But usually when I see a good looking guy on a plane, he's already like someone else's husband. And I have another group of friends that are like newly divorced, and they're the ones that like will always talk about how amazing their husbands are. And they'll always be like judging me for dealing all these fuckboys out here in the circus. Yeah, and they'll always like be like, oh, you see what Na's going through? That would never happen to me if I was single. And they'll always try to give me advice like, oh, there are plenty of good guys out there. You just need to think positive. And now I just sit back, watch them navigate this dating scene. A little bit of time in the scene, right? And they're just like, oh, there are no good guys out there. And then I'm like, oh, positive thinking isn't working out for you. Yeah, and they're like, no, these guys just want to take me home and break my back. And they're like, I'm so sad. I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. And I'm over here just like, oh, poor you. I feel so bad. But honestly, I don't feel bad. Because this is karma, bitch. Thank you, everyone, for listening to my rant.
Now win, ladies and gentlemen. Na also did some more material in class, but didn't want to do it because her mom's here. Right here. Oh, no, it's real funny. It's after she meets the guys, that later. That Well, you can see how proud I am. Give them a round of applause, every one of them. Yeah. And keep it going, Ed Markowitz. Come on, Grace Ashita, Whitehead, Kim Upham, Alex Carrier, Clint Sayer, Julia McAvoy, John Stam, and Na Wen, and Na's mom. Give her a round of applause. Sunday night, 2 nights from now, we have another show, completely different lineup. So tell your friends to come. 7 o'clock is a good time to get here. As you can tell, it'll fill up quickly. But right now, before you leave, I'm going to ask the comics to come up. This is a tradition here after the class, and we'll bring some benches up. Open it up to a Q&A here for anyone who wants to ask me or any of the, come on up performers, come on up, and we'll do a short Q&A. It won't be too long, but if you want to stay for that, I think it'll be fun. Give them a round of applause as they head up to the stage. So, grab a seat. This is like the last minutes of the Romanovs, isn't it? Okay. So if you have any questions for anyone, your family, your friends, direct it, and I'll give the mic to whoever you ask questions. Yes, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I would love to ask Julia McAvoy, what was it that really led you to go to comedy? I love how you brought in your life and your fiance's, or your husband's life. It's not your husband anymore. So what brought you into comedy, Julia?
Thank you, paid actor. Well, I've loved comedy like my whole life, and you know, you think you watch it and you're like, I could do that. But it's just an art form that I've always really loved and appreciated, and bringing my husband and family into it was not very hard because that's the shit we make fun of every day at home. So I got his permission to like talk about his family before I did this. But does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I love you.
One of the things that I think works so well with stand-up comedy is coming from your truth, and that's true with anything, you know.
Yes.
Write about what you know, tell the truth, as they tell aspiring authors. And what I tell the class, one of the things is that, for instance, if someone is a liar who lies all the time, like, you know, former president or something, you know, you have to, when you lie, you have to think about what you're saying to make sure it fits with what you said before. So there's a lot of mental work required. If you tell the truth, you just tell the truth. So one of the freeing things about doing stand-up comedy from the very beginning is talk about your life. And every one of these students bought into it, and I think it's freaking great. Go ahead, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So I want to ask a non-new one.
Nah.
Yeah. How did you overcome the fear to get on the stage? You know, I think a lot of people think of the same thing. You know, especially with me. Like I would always get so nervous getting on the stage. Yeah.
Still have the fear, you know. I don't know. Before coming out, my heart is just like, but I don't know. I guess just like, I think it's. I feel like one of the reasons I took this class is I feel like public speaking is a really important skill, not just for like. I mean, it's easier if it's like comedy and telling jokes, but just like in life, you know. Like I feel like, and that's something that some things you kind of have to just like face and do, you know. So I just got up here even though I'm still scared.
My answer to the first question is very similar here, because when you just tell the truth, it's like a normal conversation, much more of a normal conversation than if you're writing lines and delivering lines or remember what the line was and so forth. It's very freeing to come from who you are. And that, by the way, you don't have to do that as a stand-up comic. You can do, there's all kinds of prop comedy and one-liners and monology and all that, but for starting out, it's an easier takeoff to talk about who you are, because that's what you know the most. Anybody else? Oh, come on.
I'll ask something.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Cool. And a couple of you have also taken improv here as well. How has this class, or any other classes you've taken in this, helped you outside of, or off stage, if you will?
Do we have any improv people up here?
There's a couple. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, for the improv, I found it really helped me just be more comfortable, more comfortable relating to people. It's really awkward talking to people you don't know sometimes, and putting yourself in a controlled environment where people are supportive, just happy to laugh with you, and then you get to laugh really hard, feels really good. It just feels good. It moves into all other areas of experience. And the stand-up was really challenging because it made me feel like I needed to practice.
One of the things that Alice said this is really important in how we structured the class is for everyone to critique, because the only audience they've had up till tonight for stand-up have been each other in the class. And if you want to do stand-up, you know, there's ways that you can structure a joke, you learn about your delivery and your style, but nothing, they've heard me say this a million times, stage time is the coin of the realm. You've got to do it on stage for a live audience. So the only live audience they've had is in the back room there where the class was, and what's really great is each student would go up and then everyone will critique. And it was an open process, and so many people helped other students do a tag to a joke, explore a concept, and that's the fun part. It's like being in a writer's room, if you can imagine on a great TV show, where it's collaborative, and we give and support each other, and everybody in here supported everybody. It was not a competition, didn't want it to be a competition, wanted it to be like the Great British Baking Show where everybody supports everybody else. And all these people just did it so well.
And also, we all learned English in 8 weeks, so it's a real testament. It's a real testament. It's a real testament to Carl as a teacher. So if you're interested in learning English, I suggest this class.
Thank you. See how funny? It's just natural. And I grab for the mic because I've done stand-up for 42 years and radio for 10 of those years, so I just like have to have a mic. And all those years I was in radio, we go to events and people will say to my husband, Gary, oh, do you listen to Carl's radio show? And he says, no, because I hear it all when he gets home. So, yeah. Nah.
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways from the class that I will always take away that he said was that you can find comedy in your everyday life. You just have to look for it. So when I'm having like a shit day, I still like try to find something that's funny. So I feel like that's something that I would take with me. And yeah.
I agree with that. That's like
The easiest comedy is the gift that you get. You see things, if your antenna are up, you see it everywhere, every day, if you notice it. And once you're in a class like this, or an acting class, or any creative class, you will be much more perceptive about the stuff that just falls right in your lap. My mother actually said to me, we didn't have homosexuals in the 1950s. I mean, okay. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate it. Good line. There was a question in the back.
What material do you wish you would have covered tonight that now that you're off the stage you wish you could have shared?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah. What material did you wish that you had covered tonight that you didn't? Now you want to do the bit for your mom? It's really funny. I'm still laughing about it. You want to go take a walk? There's a nice, Cafe Nell is right there. You know, we'll all have cake and you can come back. It'll be great. Yeah. Anybody want to answer that? Anybody down here? What?
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but.
Grace?
No, I was just going to say. I don't actually want to do it, but there was, unfortunately, Therese isn't here. I wish she was, but there's a whole realm of dating after you're 50 that she and I have kind of meshed on, and yeah, so. But like I said, I'm not going to do it tonight.
I should mention.
No.
Next time.
Next time, yeah.
Yeah, Therese Lang was in the class. Her dad had a stroke a few nights ago, so she's down in Eugene. Bad things happen in Eugene. Stroke. Okay, thank you. But she couldn't make this, and also Mark Friedel, who is really—they're both really funny. Mark's in Australia right now, he and his wife, because they're visiting their daughter, and he's going to miss both nights. But both of them will perform for the live shows after the January or February. I don't even know when it is, but I'll be here.
We'll make sure you know.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be great. Anybody else? Yes.
I have a question, and maybe I'm asking this question because I also am old too. But the you guys didn't use foul language to get laughs. I mean, it's so often.
You want to do that extra bit for your mom now?
No, I mean, thought about doing, and I mean.
That's a good question. I was asked that the first night, and my answer, is that if the F word fits, use it. Don't overuse it. If it fits the moment, do it. Whatever. There are no restrictions here at Comedy Sports, except obviously there's no material that is offensive, that's sexist, overtly sexist, racist, homophobic. I've done comedy for 42 years, and I was actually looking at some of my contemporaries, a lot of great comics on YouTube before I did this class, just it was nostalgic for me, but I'll bet a quarter of the material you couldn't do now. Yeah. You couldn't do it. Even Jerry Seinfeld has mentioned there are a lot of lines in the episodes that he couldn't do now, which I think is good. Society has moved on. So that was the only restriction here. I'll open it up to anyone. John, did you want it? You said pocket pussy. I don't know if you heard that, sir, but he said pocket pussy.
I was like, dude, did you hear half the shit I said?
Is that your dad?
Now, my experience with doing improv at Comedy Sports is that it is family friendly. And so I actually did challenge myself to try to go making light of what I wanted to make comedy about, because I wanted it to sort of feel the way that felt. It does kind of feel like a challenge to be very, very, very silly without trying to be shocking or offensive. It's it can be fun. So to answer your question, I did think about it.
Yeah, when I started in 1980, and that's a long time ago, when I started, the Koch brothers were Jim and John Belushi, for God's sakes, yeah, too loud. Thanks. Where's Ed? Ed, I understand. When I started, a lot of comics worked clean because TV was clean back then. There wasn't HBO and Showtime. Well, it came in, and also comics I did a lot of corporate, what we call corporate gigs, where you had to be clean. You're like a guest in someone's living room. So if you worked clean, you had, you could do anything you want in the comedy clubs. But if you worked clean, you had an easier path to television. And I've done Mormon groups, and every group you wouldn't be able to say pocket pussy to the Mormons, but maybe you would as long as you're not drinking when you say it. But anybody else?
I want to say one more thing. People repeat things back to you that you said. So if you say pocket pussy, you hear pocket pussy a lot.
I'm that guy now, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like Donahue. Is that too old for you?
I just want to say it's been educational, because I'm 59 and I didn't know what a pocket pussy was. So thank you. And he visited our class and I learned. Thank you.
I would like to take this opportunity to have you all hear, including me, how to say pocket pussy. I'm gay, it's hard for me to say that word. Flashback of that one awful time. Thank you for asking if we work clean. I want to know how to say pocket pussy in German. Go ahead and use.
We don't have time.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
He moved here when he was 8. I don't think he's gonna know. How would my mom say?
Are we out of time? Or?
No, I was saying we don't have time to hear it in German.
My mom would say it this way.
I just want to say that one time I watched an episode of Modern Family, and they used the term, oh my God, 12 times. I counted them 12 times. That's once every 2 minutes. The English language is so rich and so beautiful and so diverse that if you have any talent whatsoever, you can figure out how to be funny without having to say, oh my God, or fuck you, over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Just adding to that, I also appreciated people's subtlety when they said things like, Nas said adult things with her son. I just thought that was really charming.
This
She's
is her
very
mom
charming,
sitting in
that
the
extra
front row.
material is very charming. One of the great things in just 8 weeks is thinking funny, thinking creatively, because we all start with creativity. That's just rearranging the elements of the world. It's taking hillbillies and putting them in Beverly Hills. And every joke has a structure where you move the brain along a certain pattern, and there's a twist where you twist them in a different direction. That's the structure of a joke. But this process in 8 weeks, and some have had great improv experience, but you learn to think creatively, you learn to think comedically, and none of these people will ever, they'll have that for the rest of their life, whether it's in a bathroom stall. And I want to say that I didn't know what box of chocolates I was going to get, but both of these classes, everybody has been just a godsend. It's been easy for me because they've come in with such creativity and such willingness to learn and put themselves out there. One more round for everybody. Do you have time for any more? Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. How many people here are friends or family of folks up here? Yeah, okay, well that's great. That's really, really good. So thank you for supporting them. And I can't say enough about Comedy Sports, giving us an opportunity and teaching improv. Patrick, give a plug for the improv classes that you have here. Yeah, there's some marketing involved at this point.
Yeah, you got to do it. So we've been here in this building since 1996, in this block since 1993. Our show's Saturday, 1538th straight weekend we've done a show without missing a weekend. I started when I was 2, back in 1993. And we teach. In January, I'll be teaching 2 sections of our 101 class. We're the loud ones in the front room while these folks are in the middle room. It's the 123rd time, 124th time I'll have taught the class. I'm figuring it out slowly. But it's a really tremendous experience. If you feel like you are afraid to speak in public, if you feel like you're just not getting out there, it's a great way to meet a bunch of cool people and to learn a bunch of stuff that will literally change your life. We like to say, quoting Andre DeShields, you may be challenged, you may be changed, you won't be harmed. So try the classes. Also, if you know people who are 11 to 17, January 7th, we're starting another U18 class on Saturdays. In fact, the fall one has their showcase tomorrow. Somebody here is in that showcase. I'm not going to point them out.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I will not do that. But Alice knows who it is. And we're also going to have improv for families beginning January 7th, where you and your kids can work together.
That sounds like
Taught by Nick Condon. So check that out. It is awesome. So check it out. Come and see a show. I wonder if you've noticed what our website is. Okay. But thanks for coming. If you could, when you leave, if you could take cans and bottles and stuff and just leave them on the front counter, we'll take them from there. Okay. But if you leave them out there, I'll kick them over.
And thank you, Pat. One last thing, the first thing I said to the class is we're going to have fun, because if you have fun, the audience will have fun. We proved it tonight. Thank you very much for coming. One more round for everybody. Thank you for coming and supporting. Thank you.